Hey guys, Dwayne here. Today is October 16, 2018. These are the answers to the October Q&A. Yesterday I asked you for questions, and I also told you if you left a question, you would be entered in a drawing. We will do that drawing tomorrow. Okay, so this is just the answers to your questions. Let's get started. First question, 3 questions. From 56 Crown Vic. He says, what rank did you achieve in the Marine Corps? When I left the Marine Corps, I was a PFC. I should have been a Lance Corporal, but there was a situation. That's all I'm going to say. What is your favorite handgun and why? My favorite handgun, I don't own anymore, but I do plan on buying another one, is the Glock 17. Glocks are well made, extremely reliable. Parts and accessories and magazines and upgrades are everywhere. And I like having a 17-round magazine. It makes a very heavy handgun, but man, that is a lot of firepower. And question number 3, will your wife ever be in a video? No. I've asked, and no. She has no interest in YouTube. She doesn't even watch my videos. She definitely does not want to be in one. Okay, next question is from Melon. Hey Dwayne, have you had special encounters with cannabis? So did you ever smoke it, and what's your opinion about it being used as a medicine? Okay, actually on 420 this year, I made a video called 420 2 Getting High Stories. I will put a link below where I talked about a couple times where I got high, and they were funny stories. So yes, I used to, but it's been decades. It's one of those things that I was very excited about when I learned about it, but I no longer care. You know, I was been there, done that. My opinion about it being used as a medicine, absolutely. I don't do a lot of research on cannabis, but I have read that it helps with Parkinson's disease, cancer, pain relief for all kinds of ailments. And if I had any of those, I would definitely try it. Pharmaceutical prescription drugs, they all have side effects, and I'm sure cannabis does too. But yeah, I would try it. I think it should be available as an option for people with ailments like that. So there you go. Next question from Matt Kearns. Hey Dwayne, could you rank your EDC items on what's most important and useful to you? Just think it would be interesting. Thanks. That is a great idea. Here is my current EDC. The 2 things that I use most often, in fact every single day, are the big knife in my back pocket that I can draw and open with one hand. That's a must for me for an EDC knife. And you know, I use it for opening boxes, cutting string, scraping gum off of carpet because I'm a janitor, all sorts of things. I use it several times a day, every single day. And also the little bitty flashlight. This is a little Photon 2 micro light. I like it a lot because it is so minimal, but it's bright enough in almost any situation. And it's easy to pull it out of my pocket and push the button and you get light. quick and easy, and you don't have to go through a lot of different modes. It's got a momentary switch. It's also got a switch where you can turn it on and it will stay on by itself. I just love it. Those two things I use every single day. The rest of it, I don't use that often. You know, sometimes it's nice to have a pen. Sometimes it's nice to have a toothpick. Sometimes it's nice to have ibuprofen. Sometimes I need my wallet, but not every day. So there you go. Next question. iPack9mm says, are you into firearms? Yes, I have always been into guns ever since I was 6 or 7. The first time my dad took my brothers and I shooting, and I loved it. And I've had guns. I don't remember when I got my first gun. I was like 10 or 12 maybe. And so I've had guns my whole entire life. In fact, when I was in boot camp, I had the highest score in my platoon for shooting. The highest out of like 50 guys. I was number 1. Because I had been shooting my entire life. Okay? I was 20 years old when I joined the Marines. And I had been shooting for 10 years. More than 10 years. So, anyway, yes, I am into guns. I don't own a lot of guns, and my collection goes like this, up and down and up and down. Sometimes I see this gun, I buy it. I see this gun, I buy it. And then I have them for a long time, and I realize I no longer shoot this one, so I sell it, and sometimes I replace it, sometimes I don't. Anyway, I don't have a lot of guns, but I do love guns. 7 is enough says, hi Dwayne, what state do you live in? Washington State. I'm about 5 hours from Seattle. Okay. Where did you grow up? I grew up 7 miles from where I am right now. I have lived in other states. I lived in Iowa, California, Florida, Nevada, but I always come home. I always come back to Washington. What jobs did you do that you loved and hated? The job I love the most is the one I have right now. I am a janitor, and I just love it. I know there's no prestige. People don't like, whoa, janitor, nice, you know. I don't get that admiration when I tell people what I do, but I love it. It suits me. I'm very detail oriented. I like to clean and organize, and it's the perfect job for me. What job did I hate? Believe it or not, I was an accountant for 15 years. I was good at it. I was very good at it because I'm detail oriented and I do like numbers. But sitting at a desk all day, and I ended up working 6 days a week. I worked almost every Saturday, and I hated it. You know, I was good at it, it paid well, but I hated it. Not for me. Okay, last question from 7 is enough. What is your favorite thing to do? Ride my bike. Oh yeah. If you have a bike, you understand. If you don't have a bike, get one. Okay, now we have a few questions from Raven777. Hey Dwayne, here are my questions for you. Not sure if some of these have been answered in the past, but I'll ask anyway. What musicians or groups do you like to listen to? You know, I'm kind of stuck in the past. I like Elvis Presley. I like Michael Jackson's music. I know he was kind of an oddball, but I don't have to like him to like his music, you know. I like Pharrell Williams. His song Happy. That's a few years old, but that's what I listen to. Okay, what are your current favorite shows and or movies? TV shows, I like Big Bang Theory, I like Young Sheldon, and I just started watching a new show called A Million Little Things. It looks interesting. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of drama. If there is, then I'll quit watching it because I just want to be entertained. Okay. My favorite movie is still Premium Rush. It's not a great movie, but it's got a good plot and lots of bike riding. So that's where I'm at right now. Any movies you would recommend? Premium Rush. Is there any gear you're looking at to get in the near future? No. I am looking at a new watch, but I'm going to answer that in a different question. Okay, that's somebody else's question. And what is your favorite meal to eat? I like Panda Express. It's this kind of fast food Chinese place. Teriyaki chicken and chow mein. Yeah, that's that's my favorite meal. Also, would you like a free piece of my art? Yes, I would. I have room on my wall for for more art. So let's talk. I'll show you some examples first in case it's not to your liking. But yeah, let's talk. And thanks for the questions. Raven777. Okay. Next question from Oliver Carter Malley. I first got to know you watching your Rambo knife video. Man, that was a long time ago. Wow. That is awesome. Thanks for still watching, Oliver. Okay, question. What are your thoughts on the new Rambo 5 movie? Storyline, first look photos, etc. I am pumped. I know it's probably going to be a couple of years before it's done, but yeah, sign me up. The storyline, Rambo is like 70 years old. Sylvester Stallone is in his 70s. So anyway, he's working on a ranch in Texas, and a girl gets kidnapped. I'm not sure if she's related to him or what. And so he goes into Mexico to find her. And yeah, there should be lots of action. And yeah, and they're going to have to. It's going to have to be similar to the other Rambo movies, or it's going to be a flop, right? Because that's what the fans are expecting. So there you go. Let's do it. Next question is from JawJabber01. If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done? Oh man, I don't want to be arrested. They would probably assume I stole something, because way back in the day I used to be kind of a little thief. But I'm better now. Thanks for the question, Scott. Frederick says, what are your top 3 favorite cakes? All right. German chocolate, carrot cake, and ice cream cake from a restaurant called Dairy Queen. I don't know if you have that where you're at, but in the United States we have Dairy Queen. They have a lot of ice cream stuff, and they make a really good ice cream cake with crumbled Oreos on it and in it. Anyway, there you go. Frederick also says, P.S. My wife will not allow me to receive the shipment of containers. That's a shame, buddy. Okay, if I draw your name, I will draw somebody else. Daryl Appleby says, "Hey, Dwayne, hope you are well. My question, if you had to have a meal with 3 other YouTubers, dead or alive, who would you choose?" Okay, Daryl, I've thought about that for a while, and here's my list. Weapon Collector Mike, because he's like my best friend on YouTube. I have a lot of friends on YouTube, and I love you all, but Weapon Collector Mike, he and I are tight. Okay. Another one would be Cutlery Lover. I have exchanged emails with him a couple times, and he was really nice, and he really helped me out a couple times, and I really appreciate that. And Humble Trekker, I think I'm not sure where he's at. He's got a cool accent, and he does backpacking and bushcraft type stuff, and I think the 3 of us would have a good time. All right. Next question from Toddman22410. How long have you been doing these videos? Seems like it's been forever. It's been 11 years. I started on YouTube in 2007. Watch Hobby says, Dwayne, how's the electric bike doing? I'm very interested in doing one up. Also, still watch collecting? Okay, that's the second question. The electric bike is great. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I have 2 bikes. I have an electric bike and I have a vintage 10-speed. And I go back and forth. Sometimes I love riding the 10-speed without a motor. Sometimes I want a motor. So anyway, yeah, I love it. You should get one. Watch collecting. Not so much. Actually, I am I am wearing a cheap little Chinese $4 watch that I bought off Wish.com just for the fun of it, just because it was $4. Yeah. I imagine the band isn't going to last long, but anyway, it's a fun little watch. So I bought that a couple of weeks ago, but I really tapered off on buying watches. I still have my eye on one, and I will show you a picture when I answer Jay's question. So there you go. Electro says, what do you call a cow with a twitch? Yeah, buddy. Steak and shake. Oh, yeah. Okay. Jay says, what is your next wristwatch purchase consideration? Okay, Jay. A couple of people are interested in this. I am looking at a retro Casio. It's a reproduction of a Casio watch from the 70s or 80s. I don't remember which. Very cool, all black, stainless steel, black. Yeah. I've been looking at this and thinking about it, and I will probably buy it. Thanks for your question, buddy. Next from Sailor Ashore. He says, right, that does it. I'm not leaving a question then. Cheers, mate. I'm thinking what he's saying is he doesn't want to be in the drawing for the containers. That's cool. No worries. Next question from Bob the Metal Guy Weapons and Welding. Dwayne, do you carry pepper spray when you go out cycling? No, Bob, I don't. I don't really carry any weapons anymore. I used to wear a neck knife because I was a little paranoid about being attacked by dogs. But you know what? I've been riding for a few years now. I've never been attacked by a dog. I've been chased by a few dogs, but they were just bored. They didn't really want to hurt me. They didn't really want to catch me. They just liked chasing the bike. And so, yeah, I don't carry pepper spray or knife. Well, I usually wear my Leatherman for a knife. But yeah, no, not so much anymore. Prep for it says, first question, what knife, if any, do you EDC to your job? I'm guessing not the Cleon Batlift, right? Oh, man. Security would escort me right out the door if I brought that to work. Yeah, I carry something like this. Sometimes it's a Kershaw, sometimes it's a Spyderco. Right now I've been carrying this little Chinese Tac Force. With a paracord cutter and a glass breaker. Yeah, I don't need those things. But I carried that. I also carry a Swiss Army knife for the tools, screwdriver, regular screwdriver, toothpick, tweezers. Yeah. So those two are my work EDC knives. Second question from Prep for It. What is the weirdest thing you have seen in someone else's home? I have been in hoarders' homes, and it boggles my mind when they have stuff stacked almost as tall as me, just either junk or stuff that may be valuable, but they never see it because there's so much stuff on top of it, and there's just like a walkway, and these homes always smell bad, and that is weird, but it's not really bizarre, I guess. I don't know. One time I went to a friend's house, and she had a stack of Diet Coke cases, 12-pack cases of Diet Coke stacked like 4 feet high. And I'm like, what's up with the Diet Coke? She said it was on sale. All right. I don't drink soda. I'm very rarely. So that was kind of weird for me. But yeah, that's that's about it. Number 3 from Prep for It. What's the funniest fail, wipeout, or mistake you have ever seen in person? You know, I've been thinking about this for a while, about this question, and I can't think of anything really outstanding. A couple days ago, I did see somebody going the wrong way in a roundabout, and everybody just stopped and waited for him to figure it out and get out of the roundabout. Yeah, so that's about it. Next question is from Dylan Lambert. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Jeez, that's harsh. Stir-fried chicken and vegetables. I could eat that every day, 3 times a day. Why not? Next question from Robin. Hi, Dwayne. If you could travel back in time to witness any historical event, which do you choose? Robin, I would go back to 1969, and I want to witness the U.S. landing on the moon. Okay? I'm not sure it happened. Okay? In fact, the technology we had at that time, I really doubt that we could have safely landed on the moon and come back home. Okay? Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to know. I'd like to know for sure. Okay, Christian Knife Guy says, can I get a shout out? Yes. Shout out to Christian Knife Guy. Check out his channel. I just watched one of his videos where he did a root beer review. Thanks for the review. I will not be buying that kind of root beer. Alright. Thanks for the question. Next question from Mega Chiga. I got a question. This may seem random, but I like to hear people's opinion on this topic. Do you prefer CDs or vinyl records? What artists do you listen to on them? I like CDs. I haven't listened to a vinyl record in decades, but I remember the hissing and the popping, and CDs are so much better. And so yeah, that's me. I know some people are into the retro vinyl, and that's cool if that's your thing, but I have no interest in vinyl records. What artists do I listen to? Elvis, Michael Jackson, Pharrell Williams, and there's a few others, but like I said before earlier, I'm stuck in the past. I don't know who's popular now, and I don't really care. Music isn't a big part of my life. A lot of times I would just prefer to have quiet. So there you go. Orlando Lucina says, have you ever needed to pass gas at a store and let it rip thinking you were alone, only to find out someone was right next to you the whole time? No, buddy. That has never happened to me. Has it happened to you? Okay, next question. Bled Ripper says, first of all, I love you. When I watch any of your videos, I feel warm inside. Okay, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Second of all, here is the question. When was it that you got your very first knife? I got my first knife when I was 5 years old. My grandfather gave it to me. Back then, back in the 60s, all men carried knives. All little boys carried knives. It was perfectly normal. I carried a knife to school every day of my life. I always had a knife. And guess what? I never stabbed anybody. All right? So, yeah. I graduated high school in 1980, and it was still legal to carry a knife to school in 1980. So, there you go. Finally, if you could choose another country to live in and exclude the U.S., which would you choose? I'm going to say either Canada or Mexico. I have been to both, and they both have pros and cons. Mexico is warm. The people were really nice. Canada has hellacious winters, but the people are nice and everybody speaks English, except Quebec. But yeah, and then I would still be close to home, because homesick is a real thing. So there you go. Next question. 3 questions from Alex2025. Number 1, where do you get your news? Random online headlines. I'm not real focused on what's going on in the world out there. I mean, I sort of pay attention, but it's not the focus of my day, and I don't watch news constantly because I would constantly be in a bad mood. But Headlines are suggested on Yahoo and Facebook and sometimes even YouTube. And if it looks like an interesting story, I will look a little closer, read or watch the video or whatever. But a lot of that, I just ain't got time for that. I'm busy living my life. Number 2, are you a conspiracy theorist? Yeah, I guess I am. If yes, what theories do you have? Okay, I touched on this earlier. The 1969 moon landing and every subsequent moon landing, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that happened. Yeah. JFK, there's an oldie but goodie. I believe JFK was assassinated by the CIA or the Secret Service or some government entities wanted him dead. And I'm pretty sure I'm right. Most recent one was the U.S. behind the 9/11 attacks. Man, I hope not. But there have been a lot of stories and expert speculation on the building should not have fallen the way they did, and there were signs of melted metal where it shouldn't have been, and yeah, I don't know, and we'll never know. So there you go. Question number 3 from Alex. The biggest opportunity you took that changed your life for the better? You know, I can't really think of like one event. I can think of a lot of mistakes I made that I would I would dearly love to go back and correct. But let me share this with you. When I was younger, I was so frustrated that things were not different, and that people did stupid, cruel things. I was so angry and so frustrated with that, and it was ruining my life. And at some point, I learned to just go with the flow. Don't swim against the current so much. I mean, there's bad in the world, and yeah, that's the way it is. But don't let it consume you. Just live your life. Go with the flow. If you don't like the way your life is going, change direction. But all of that out there doesn't have to ruin your life right here. I know that's deep, right? Thanks for the questions, Alex. Collective Content Channel. My buddy Tom says, once again, thanks for the marvelous EDC gear. Collective Content Channel won my last giveaway. So, yeah, that's what that's all about. And I'm glad you're enjoying it, buddy. That's cool. It's good to hear. Sometimes I do a giveaway and I never hear from the person again, which is okay. You know, we're each on our own path. Anyway, 4 questions to wiggle the branches from Collective Content Channel. 1, how do you like using Linux so far? A couple of years ago, for my birthday, a friend gave me this computer that I'm using right now. With Linux installed on it. It didn't have Windows. He had to wipe the Windows. I forget why, but he installed Linux, and it works well enough. Actually, it works nearly perfectly. The only real problem I have is with the video editing program, open source. It's got a bug in it, and it likes to shut down, and I have to restart it sometimes multiple times in the middle of editing a video. So I learned to hit save a lot. But honestly, I prefer Windows. That's just me. Next question. What's your favorite sauces, spices for cooking? That is an interesting question that I have never been asked before. I don't use a lot of sauces or spices when I cook, but when I cook meat, I do like to use a pinch of salt. I like Lawry's seasoning salt, and this is a new one I just got. I haven't actually tried it, but I have tried other hickory smoked sea salt brands, and yeah, I like these. Just a pinch, not too much. And I don't use steak sauce. I don't want to taste vinegar and all that crap. I want to taste the steak. So just a little salt. Next question from Collective Content Channel. What's your favorite old show prior to 1970? I can only remember a couple. I remember watching Gomer Pyle and I Dream of Jeannie. And so I'm going to go with those. Next question. What's best bargain items to stock up on? Also from Collective Content Channel. Okay. 22 ammo. And of course you're going to have a 22 gun. Rifle and pistol would be preferable. So 22 ammo. We're talking about bargain items. You know, you need a long-range rifle. You might need a shotgun, but we're talking bargain ammo. 22 ammo is still a bargain. Water and canned food. Okay, those are things you can stock up on for cheap, and there's no reason not to. All right, next question is from Sports Guy 756. I'm asking two questions. One, what's the scariest thing you have ever done or that's happened to you? A while back, I made a video called Hiding from Police Helicopters. I will link that below. That's probably the scariest thing that's happened to me. Man, it was a rush, and I can't believe I didn't get caught. Okay, next question from Sports Guy. Do you think they should free Bobby Shmurda? Probably. For those of you who don't know, Bobby Shmurda is a young rap musician. He was arrested a couple years ago and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Okay. He eventually took a plea deal for some weapons charges, and he's currently serving 7 years in prison. Okay. I don't know if he's guilty. I wasn't there. I don't know. But from what I've read, I tend to believe him that the police lied about him having a gun, and I don't think they really had enough evidence to convict him. But somehow he was pressured into taking this plea deal, basically pleading guilty to a lesser charge. Yeah. I don't know if he's guilty, but technically I don't think they had enough to convict him. So there you go. Next, we have two questions from GAI. How cool do you think you are on a scale of 1 to 10? Oh, man. I'm going to go with 5. Yeah, definitely a big old 5. Next question from GAI. What did you want to be growing up? I wanted to be rich. I don't know where I got the idea, but I just wanted to have a lot of money and do whatever I wanted. I never had a specific career in mind. Yeah. How strange is that? now we have a little story from Orlando Lucina. So one day I told my wife I wanted to get a gun for home defense. She gets mad and tells me that I better not. So being the marriage expert that I am, I went ahead a month later and bought myself a gun for my birthday. LOL. Good job, buddy. Of course, she gets mad and asks, didn't I tell you not to buy a gun? To which I replied, you're not my mom. She then tells me that I better not get another one, but in my mind I said, challenge accepted. A couple of guns later, she finally gives up. I guess my question is, have you ever been in a situation like that, whether it was a gun or some other thing? On a side note, she now wants to learn how to use a gun. Extra win. Good job, buddy. You are my hero. Have I ever been in a situation like that? No. I've been married 4 times, and none of my wives has tried to forbid me from doing something I wanted to do. Yeah. I guess I've been lucky. Next question, also from Orlando Lucina. Serious question. Have you ever done something stupid to get yourself fired because you hated your job that much? No. Not on purpose. In fact, the only time I remember getting fired was I was young. I was a teenager. I worked at a roast beef place, kind of like Arby's, only it was a knockoff. It was an Arby's wannabe, where they had roast beef sandwiches and stuff like that. Anyway, my boss was a dick. In fact, his last name was Woodcock. I swear to God. Anyway, I liked the job, but I hated him, so I started looking for another job while I was still working there. And I was friends with the people I worked with, except for the boss, and I shared with them, I'm looking for another job. I told them where I was looking. We shared tips on where to look for jobs, and I'll give you a reference if you give me a reference, that kind of thing. And the boss, Mr. Woodcock, found out that I told other people that I was planning on quitting before I told him. And he got his little feelings hurt and fired me on the spot. Oh, what a dick. All right, next question. Oh, my. This is from a user who calls himself Motherfucker. Oh, buddy. I don't know. You got to do something about that name. He says, how much longer will you be making YouTube videos? And do you enjoy making videos? Yes, I enjoy making videos a lot. I make videos about whatever I want. I talk about things I enjoy. I've made a lot of friends here, and I don't plan to stop, I guess. As long as YouTube lets me, I'll keep making videos. Thanks for your questions. Wooju333 Poseidon says, do you have any children? No, I have 2 cats. What do you think about YouTube has changed since you started? Since I started on YouTube in 2007, there are a lot more YouTubers, which means there's a lot more competition for your viewing time. I have over 11,000 subscribers, but most of my videos only get 200 or 300 views. Okay, because there is so much else to watch. So that's huge. That's a big change. Next question from Wooju333 Poseidon. Favorite book, movie, album, etc. Favorite book? I don't actually have this book anymore. I went through a decluttering phase a couple of years ago and got rid of a lot of stuff. Anyway, favorite book that I can recall was actually recommended to me by one of my subscribers. I think it was Robin. Recommended a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. Okay. Very good story, well written, and there is a lesson there. Actually, several lessons. Check that out. I'm sure you can pick it up used for really cheap. The Richest Man in Babylon. Favorite movie? Premium Rush. Like I said, it's not the greatest movie of all time, but I really enjoyed it, and it's probably the only movie that I've watched several times. There you go. Favorite album? Like I said before, I'm not that into music. I guess if I had to choose one, how about Elvis's 30 greatest hits? 30 number one hits. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Elvis. Thanks for your questions. Now we have some questions from Susan Robertson. Have you ever worried about nasty comments? I never got really upset about nasty comments. There was a time years ago where I would make videos about excuse me, this guy who was plaguing me on YouTube. What was his name? Kamikaze, something like that. And I mispronounced it on purpose. I called him Kamikaze, and I told Kamikaze jokes, and yeah. So I played along and gave him attention, which is what he really wanted. Sometimes I just delete the negative comments. Sometimes I will go after them. Like a few weeks ago, somebody called me a racist faggot. And so I replied, I said, like your mother? Oh, Jesus. He actually never responded. Go figure. So, yeah. Negative comments are just part of the internet. So, yeah. Just I don't worry about it. Next from Susan Robertson. Okay, here is my crazy question. Do you sing in the shower? No. I get in, get showered, get out. I think it's a man thing. Next question from Susan. What's your favorite rock star? I don't really have one. Yeah. Sorry. Also from Susan. Do you dream a lot about new motorcycling? No. Do you? Then Susan says, sorry I'm late. My sister was blue, so what can a sister do but be with her and shower her with love? Good for you. That's awesome. You're a good sister. Okay, last question is from Doc Inc. Hey Doc, welcome. He says, you have been on YouTube a long time. What got you started? That's a good question. I discovered YouTube back in 2007. I don't remember how, and I don't remember the first video I watched, but I remember watching videos on YouTube, and I remember thinking, I could do that. I could do better than that. And so I bought a cheap webcam, and there you go. Now it's like a big part of my life. So anyway, thank you for all your questions. That's all I have for you today. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.
Peace out.